Welcome to the Tippah County Development Foundation Halftime Show, featuring the leaders of the North and South Tippah School Districts. Development Foundation Director Chris Llewellyn knows that moving forward together starts with our students and their school leaders. Find out how you can be a part of Tippah County moving forward together at tippahcounty.org.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Tippah County Development Foundation's halftime show where we're moving forward together. I hope you guys are enjoying the game so far. Today in Sun Bear's studio, I have with me the principal of Chalybeate Elementary, Miss Janalee Leak, and we are going to talk to her this halftime show about all the awesome things that she is doing at Chalybeate. Janalee, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Janalee, I would like for you to share with our listeners a little bit of what you told me happened just a moment ago.
So about 5 minutes before I was supposed to leave my campus to come down here, a kid came running in the office and he said, Miss Leak, there's water everywhere in the boys' bathroom. And usually when they say that, it may be an overflow or it may be some type of small problem, but he was for real. Like, I got over there and there was probably already an inch of water in the floor and there was water blowing out the top of the urinal and it was going everywhere. It was raining in the bathroom. So we had to figure out we ended up having to cut the water to the whole campus at the road and get the town to come over and try to help us. And we have some guys cleaning up and trying to get a plumber to come and fix the whole issue so we can get the water turned back on. So you never know what's going to happen.
I guess being a principal, that's just part of the deal. You just never know what kind of crazy thing is going to happen.
That is so true. You never know. It's kind of like working in the emergency room. You never know what's going to come in next. I mean, that's the thing I love the most about my job is that it's different every day. Sometimes it's good different, sometimes it's bad different, but every day you just really don't know what's going to happen right around the corner.
I kind of agree at the radio station. Like some days you try to pick your shoes to go with what you're going to do that day. So tennis shoes, high heels, what do you need? You never know. And it could be anything.
I should have chosen the tennis shoes today because in the middle of the water leak issue, and I'm running back and forth from each side of my school to the other trying to get this water turned off. My heel breaks off my shoe in the middle of that, so I'm running barefooted. It's been a wild day.
All right, how long have you been doing this crazy job?
I have been in education total. This is my 19th year. I taught 12 years in the classroom. I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade ELA, and I coached girls basketball and softball at Chalybeate. And then for 2 years after that, I was at the district office as the curriculum coordinator, and I did professional development, and I did the pre-K stuff, some of the VOTEC stuff. And then 5 years ago, I went back to Chalybeate as the principal. So this is my 5th year.
Tell our listeners about the makeup of Chalybeate because they may not know.
We are a small school, of course, very small. We have about 300 students. I think it's like 294. We are pre-K through 8th. Most of our grades only have, I say one section. We may have 2 sections of students, but we average 35 kids or so in a class. So it's really a few too many to have one classroom, but you still can have 2 smaller classrooms, 2 smaller sections of each grade. So that's about it.
I know that 3 K-12 schools in our county, they love that high school atmosphere, and it is exciting to have a high school. But I would say from an administrative point of view, it's probably nice to just be K through 8 because, man, you can really hone in on what that age kid needs and get it right.
Well, you can, and, something that I think is an advantage for us or something that I really like about our school that I think it offers that other schools are not able to is that we do only go through 8th grade, but our 8th graders they feel like the seniors. They're the big kids, and, of course, they're going to move on to high school, but our kids are not around high school kids, so our 7th and 8th graders still kind of have a little bit of an innocence that you don't always see, just from younger kids being around older kids, sharing bathrooms, sharing common areas, being in the lunchroom together. We don't have that. So, I guess some people might call it immaturity. I don't see it as immaturity. I see it as more of an innocence. They kind of get to hold on to that for a little bit longer, and I love that.
Tell me about some of the great things that are happening besides the plumbing issues. What are the great things that are happening at Chalybeate?
Well, right now, of course, at Chalybeate, it is October, so we are kicking off our Harvest Festival. So, that is our month-long fundraiser that we do each year. Instead of doing fundraisers for different clubs or different sports throughout the year, we try to just do all of our fundraising at one time, and that is all in the month of October. So we have lots of different things going on. We have a silent auction next week, a fish dinner where we're doing fish plates and selling those. We have stage shows for our kids. That's been a tradition for a long, long time. Next week we'll be doing a three-legged race or sack race. The kids get to choose. We do free throw competitions for each grade. We have a talent show and an art show. And then that next week is actually when we do what we call our sidewalk sales. And that's where just about 30 or 40 minutes each day, instead of going to break, the kids get to go outside, and parents and community members, whoever wants to, comes and sets up things that the kids can buy. I mean, some of it's food items, some of it's little toys. They can play games, kind of like a carnival type thing. And so they do that that last week of October. And then we'll finish up with our actual Harvest Festival night, which is the 27th. And we also give away $10,000. Our parent group kind of spearheads that project. They sell tickets for that. They give away $10,000 that week as well. So it's a busy, busy month for us at Chalybeate.
Can people follow you on Facebook or other social media?
Yes, we have a Chalybeate School Facebook page.
Now tell me about your test scores. I know everybody's gotten their test scores back. Were you pleased with your scores?
I am pleased. I'm the type of person that I don't know that I'd ever just tell you I was happy, because I just always feel like we left something on the board or we could do something better. The bright spots for us were that our proficiency in math and ELA were the highest they've ever been at our school, and that was great. Some of our growth and low growth didn't quite get where I wish that it could have gotten, but we do have more kids performing on grade level in ELA and math than ever before. And our science proficiency is up pretty close to 80%, which is a really good number.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And you don't have to be satisfied. I never like to say I'm satisfied either.
I just can't be satisfied. I'm always chasing, the bigger and the better, but I think that's what makes it work. So
That's what makes you a good leader. That's awesome. Now, we said earlier that your students top out at 8th grade. What happens to them when they graduate from Chalybeate? Where do they go?
well, when our kids are promoted from the 8th grade at Chalybeate, then they, are able to, North Tippah is an open district, so as long as the parents provide transportation, the kids can choose whether they want to go to Faulkner or Walnut. We also have a few kids sometimes who are able to get released if they want to do so. We have a few. We are right there, of course, on the edge of the Tippah Alcorn line. So we do have a few who sometimes may go to Kossuth for high school, but I'd say 95% of our kids go to Walnut for high school. We do have 2 or 3 a year usually who may go to Faulkner, and a few who may go somewhere else, but most of our kids stay at Walnut.
Geographically, that's the closest school.
Yes.
Chalybeate has a really, really long history, doesn't it? I think my grandparents graduated from Chalybeate, or whatever the name of it was, in 1915. So it's been there for forever. Can you give us a little bit of history?
The school itself at the current location was built in 1889. It started out, I think it was a college or a boarding school back at that time. I think, I've heard older people talk when I was younger, and then, of course, people talk about their older family members who can remember, they would come and they would board for the semester and go to high school there. And it was Tippah County Agricultural High School at that time. It was the only high school in the county, I think. And so everybody, that's why everybody from the area went there. And then, of course, as time went on and more schools popped up different places, and I really think a major factor of Chalybeate not having a high school anymore was that when the railroad came through, it went through Walnut. And so I think the supplies and just, the way roads were being built and that kind of thing, it was just more of a hub right there, more central location. And so our high school did moved to Walnut in don't make me tell a story, I think 1957 was when we stopped having a high school graduating class.
Chalybeate is a very close-knit, family-based school. I mean, same families have been going through there at all those schools for years. Give me some of the positives and negatives of that.
Well, I mean, of course, the positives are that you pretty much know everybody, and if you don't know them, you probably have a connection with them in some way. You know somebody in their family, or somebody who went to school there. Of course, we do have some people move in who, are just new to the area or have a new job here, and of course, we love that too. But it really is a big sense of community, because a lot of the people that teach there went to school there. We may have all gone to school together, or I know when I was teaching there, when I started, there were probably still 8 to 10 teachers there that taught me. And so it really is kind of like a family where you just kind of pass it down. And I actually have already started teaching the children of the kids that I taught. And I mean, we're not too far from grandkids. So it really happens faster than you think. So
I would think the negative of that would be trying to outrun your reputation or your parents' reputation, maybe.
oh, absolutely. I mean, that is the negative. I mean, we try to be really careful with that at the school, and you don't judge anybody by their family members or what may have happened in the past or before. You may have kids who come through that.
Kids who have come through who grew up, maybe they hit a rough patch, or maybe their family didn't go to college and now they want to go to college, and you would never put that on them and go, why would you think about going to college?
No. And it's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to be different than the people who came before you. And actually, I see so many kids come through that I would really consider success stories. That, I mean, they can achieve so much more than you ever thought was possible. They really overcome their situations.
Do you guys have any big building projects about to happen?
I don't really have any big building projects at my school currently. I guess the last thing that we did put heating and air in our gym about 5 years ago, and that has really been a blessing. When I played ball when I was younger, we just toughed it out. We didn't realize how hot it was. I can remember going to Blue Mountain College to basketball camp down there, and it's so hot. And now kids, I mean, if it's 80 degrees in the gym, they just think they're going to die. It's just so hot in here. And I'm like, y'all have no idea. They don't know how lucky they are to be able to have that air in those gyms.
Janalee, did you ever go to school with no air conditioning in the rooms? I asked because I know I'm older than you are, and I was probably a senior when they were trying to finish up putting air in. But when I was a younger person, I mean, it was nothing to go to school and it be just sweltering hot, and the teacher would have a little fan on herself, but there would be no air. It was misery.
Well, of course, when I was a kid, I can remember the big window units. All the classrooms had a huge window unit, and they were so loud, which we're really lucky at Chalybeate. All of our classrooms have central heat and air, and they have for a long time. But, yeah, I can remember when I was a kid, too, we had the gas heaters, that still sat out in the middle of the floor, the metal heaters, and you just kind of gather around them and warm up.
Oh, now that I don't remember. Okay, that is different. Okay.
We had gas heaters, and then you went from those to the ones that hung on the wall, like the brick heaters. And so we had those for a while, but we've been extremely lucky to have central heat and air for probably close to 30 years in our classrooms. And it's really a blessing. When the air goes out, it. It's not long before the teacher comes and says, "Hey, it's really hot in my room."
Yep, that's right. We have all gotten kind of soft on that, haven't we? Yeah. Okay, Janalee, thank you so much for coming by. I think that Chalybeate's real lucky to have you, and I know they do too. So thank you so much for your leadership.
Well, I feel just so lucky to be there and blessed, and I hope that I'm able to stay for a long time to come.
Okay, everybody, that's it for this episode of the Tippah County Development Foundation halftime show, where we're moving forward together in Tippah County. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the game.
This halftime show has been brought to you by the Tippah County Development Foundation, moving Tippah County forward together. And now we take you back to the second half of tonight's game.